Hey y'all, what it do? It's Rob. We back here again, and I'm here for the sports report. So it's been a wild week of free agency. I yeah, everyone got better. A lot of teams got worse too, much worse. Seahawks officially rebuilding. Falcons pretty much officially rebuilding, in my opinion. Giants pretty much rebuilding. Texans definitely rebuilding, in my opinion. Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's been so good seeing all these dudes getting paid. Then let's go ahead and start there. Let's start off with the big money pickups. Namely being Devonte Adams. Now on Tuesday, Aaron Rodgers, he got his contract. He's officially back with the Green Bay Packers on a pretty hefty deal, but all money he absolutely deserves. Devonte also deserved his money though, and he made it known. So, Devonte Adams signed with the Oakland Raiders, but I think it wasn't just for money. He signed on a deal that actually ended up being less money than he would have gotten with the Green Bay Packers. However, I think he really wanted to sign with them because A, it's his hometown team. He's from the Bay. B, he's with Derek Carr, who was his college quarterback at Fresno State University, also California. But C, I honestly think the reason he left was because he knew that no matter what he did, Aaron Rodgers was going to be all the talk. Whether it be because of all of his off seasons or all of his off-field stuff, whether it be because he's the GOAT, whether it be because he is the Green Bay Packers. Nah, all that's up to question. However, he did bounce. And I'm happy he did. Honestly, he deserves his bag. He's done nothing but amazing work. One of the best wide receivers in the entire league, if not the best wide receiver. It's very hard to debate him to not be number one. There's no word for it. Blockbuster trade. Did not think it was going to happen. Surprised it did. Very happy it did too. The Raiders are a scary squad as well now. Offensively, between Darren Waller, Hunter Renfrow, and Josh Jacobs and Devonte Adams, those are four very, very good targets. And I think Derek Carr, this will give him the ability not to have to, gunsling as much. He'll be able to sit more in the pocket and really hit his progressions in stride. Because if he hits these dudes in stride, they will catch the ball 100%. Very good. Very good to see. Another pickup for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, we have officially signed back Leonard Fournette. We signed him on a 3-year, $21 million deal today. We also have signed back Chris Godwin. We've also signed back, we've signed a couple of linemen, and Shaq Mason from the New England Patriots. Very good pickup. Great because we lost Kappa to the Bengals. And we lost our other guard as well, I believe. But we did pick up another lineman as well, so we're good again. We also managed to pick up, like I said, we picked up Russell Gage Jr., great wide receiver for Atlanta. Very interested to see how he ends up doing with our targets, with our package, because we still have Evans, we still have Godwin. Gage is a great number 3. We still have possibly Gronk. We actually have not signed back Gronk, which is surprising to me, and makes me honestly think that he might just straight up leave and want to test himself and go play with another quarterback, because he's never played with another quarterback besides Tom Brady. Again, this is like Devonte Adams and Aaron Rodgers. Sometimes you kind of want to see how you live without that shadow. Tom Brady did the same thing to the New England Patriots, basically. So, no disrespect. Go get your bag. Go get your W's. The Bills are making an amazing team right now, too. Picked up Von Miller out of nowhere. And O.J. Howard from us as well. They picked up O.J. Howard. We did re-sign Cameron Brate, so we're not tight endless. But they're going to be a force next year. Be ready. Honestly, the whole AFC. The NFC is kind of a bust, I'll be honest. But AFC is looking nasty. Up in the AFC East or AFC North, we have... Honestly, I'm talking about AFC East. There's not much going on over there, honestly. AFC North, Deshaun Watson has signed with the Cleveland Browns. I don't know how to feel about this. I put out a whole video earlier this week. I don't know. That's a lot of guaranteed money for a quarterback who still has 22 sexual assault allegations against him. They did not go through with anything in court. They did the deposition and then dropped it all as far as criminal charges. But civil court still exists, and these people can still sue. And these people probably, if anything they say is true, and they're not just taking the money, it's still a possibility that he still did all this. To have someone who did this to 22 women still be your starting quarterback at a guaranteed $230 million over span, I believe, was 5 years. One caveat, though, they did say that the first year he's only getting $1 million. Very interesting. Leave things open for if they do come out and say that he did do all these things. It's a good way to keep it balanced and be like, okay, we're cutting it then. Done. So we'll see how it goes. AFC, we also have the Steelers out there. Mitchell Trubisky did get signed to the Steelers. He is their quarterback. Though Mike Tomlin did go watch Malik Willis today at the Pro Day for Liberty University. Malik Willis, possibly the number 1 QB prospect, if not number 2, between him and Kenny Pickett. Well, we'll see. We'll see where they end up going, but 2 very high possibilities. Surprised the Steelers were looking, especially with how low their pick is. If they think he's going to drop that far, then yeah. But, I mean, Jets still exist and the Lions still exist, and they're both still looking for QBs, so I don't know. They're probably going to pick them up first. Let's see, what else? We had Matt Ryan today, or actually yesterday, so Monday. He is officially signed up with the Indianapolis Colts. Team didn't really do much. It was real quiet all the last week as far as free agency goes. But picking up Matt Ryan is a very, very good thing for him. I think he's a great quarterback. He still have a couple of years under him. And giving him a running back in Jonathan Taylor who is a workhorse and put up monster yards on his own, I think it's going to be great for him. I think it's going to be fantastic. Let off that pressure and give them the ability to find their deep targets because they're good, but Mo Alley Cox and Michael Pittman Jr., I give them both like B pluses. With Matt Ryan, they become A's, and they might have monster years next year. Keep watching the Colts. They're definitely my sleeper. They got some redeeming to do after being knocked out by Duval County and the Jacksonville Jaguars last year. Yeah, the Jags, by the way, they're making moves to try and be good. Honestly, all the moves they made are a bit for like mediocre players, but they made a nice core that can work for a quarterback like Trevor Lawrence. And giving him an offensive line, I think, will be the next big thing, and he'll be just fine. Speaking of offensive lines, Joe Burrow and the Bengals, the Super Bowl competing Bengals from this last season, they managed to get them much better. They completely revamped their offensive line. As I said, they picked up Alice Kappa from us. They picked up Hayden Hurst. They just picked up another lineman as well. I can't remember his name. But giving Joe Burrow more time in the pocket, 100% going to get them a W. They're pretty set most other places. I think they can improve as far as their linebacker core goes, and they can improve as far as their secondary goes. But that's just because I don't like Eli Apple. But offensively, they're a juggernaut. Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. I think they may have lost Tyler Boyd, now that I think about it. Or he's still a free agent, one of the two. Brandon P. Ryan and Joe Mixon. They're going to be just fine. Just fine. Let's see. Jameis Winston. Yes. Let's go ahead and bring this up. I'll show this tweet from the good Sir Ian Rappaport. 2-year contract. They look like they're pretty set on him now. I think this is just the pick that he needed. Get him in a new spot and a new energy. And with some reassurances that he's going to be their QB. Jameis Winston will do work. Very much he will do work. Keep watch for him. Keep watch for the Saints. They are not dead yet. They still have their defense. They still have pretty much the whole line. And not to mention, I believe, they just did something. Was it Terrell Armstead? Did they re-sign him or did they lose him? Yeah, they lost him to the Dolphins. Okay, that is a hard loss on their offensive line. But defensively, they'll be pretty set. And they'll be just fine. As far as other signups, Zadarius Smith has left the Packers and has gone to their rivals in the Vikings. 3-year, $42 million deal. He deserves it. Leading tackler for him. He was putting in work. I said Malik Willis. They were out there checking him out. Juju Smith-Schuster signed with the Kansas City Chiefs. So that's going to be a very interesting thing, seeing that they can survive the toxicity between him and Jackson Mahomes. Prepare for those TikToks, man. Marcus Mariota signed a 2-year deal with the Falcons. So he is going to be their new QB. They're a very fast team, a very They can run. They can run an option now. I think this is actually a great move for Mariota. Great move for Mariota. I think this will be the nice revamp of his career. All right. Let's see who else. I know I'm missing a lot of things. Baker Mayfield. We'll figure out where he's going. So he can possibly go to, like I said, the Giants are still looking for a quarterback. Baker to the Seahawks could be a thing. Baker to no, those are the main options for me. Seahawks and Giants are big. He might be able to revamp things if he goes to a lower end team. He needs that energy. He's an energy player. And he brings great energy to the team. He just needs to be on a team that's looking for that energetic push. Possibly the Bears. I think the Bears could definitely use a quarterback like that because as much as I like Justin Fields, he's not that kind of QB that's going to rally a team or bring a team together. Baker's the leader. He'll make that happen. And trying to think if there's any more from back then as far as free agent stuff. No, not really. That's it as far as free agency as far as the NFL goes. Like the big name picks, the big name grabs. We're just in week 1 and things have already hit the fan. I'm so excited to see what these next several months bring. Football's almost back. We got draft next month. Be ready. Next up on our list, there is more than just football. Let's go ahead and talk some NBA. So, namely, we've had 2 big things that happened. Number 1, we've had multiple 60-point games this week. Kyrie Irving put down 60. Jason Tatum also put up 60. He also had almost 50 from Steph. Like, people were putting in work this week. It's been crazy watching them. But Steph also got injured. He got injured pretty bad. They're not giving a timetable on when he's going to return. They're still waiting on the MRI. But they just got Draymond back. They got Clay back. They just can't manage to keep the big 3 together. They've been on a little bit of a slump right now as well. But I'm really hoping that this slump doesn't last long. I really do like the Warriors. I've always been a Mavericks. My Mavericks is my number 1 team. That was back in the days of Dirk. As far as skill-wise goes and like who I like to watch play basketball, I love watching the Warriors. They go and run. They are moving at all times on the court. It's awesome to watch. And Draymond completely morphs the entire team. He is the facilitator of the ball. He passes well. He can find the open man pretty much wherever you are. Plays great defense. Deserving of all the praise he gets. And I don't think he gets enough. Underrated player in Draymond Green. But almost 100% an all-star. Almost as integral to the team as Steph. But we'll see how they end up going. Sticking in California, we also have Russell Westbrook, who decided to finally step up and play. He's averaged 21 points a game in these last 3 games and almost 10 assists and 7 rebounds. He's almost averaging a double-double. This is in stark contrast of the abysmal season that he's had so far. He's had a hard season. And he'll admit it. It's been rough. It's been rough to watch, especially as a Lakers fan. So seeing him get back on the up and up I'm hoping this continues because they need it. Right now, I believe they're in 9th place, about to drop to 10th. Never thought the Lakers would be that bad again. We'll see what happens. The other teams, honestly, it's looking very similar to how it did last year. James Harden to the Sixers, absolutely dynamite trade. He is playing his balls out there. He's looking very well out there too. Him and Joel Embiid did sync up the way I figured they would. Everything's pretty much the same, yeah. Jazz, still the Jazz. Suns, still the Suns. Bucks, still the Bucks. Nuggets, still the Nuggets. Yeah. Not exciting. But it's good. It's good to see. My fantasy basketball team is screwed, though. Let's see what next. In the MLB world, there's only one trade I really care about. They finally managed to get baseball going again. And now Freddie Freeman is going to the Dodgers. How do we get better? I don't get it. Now, I honestly don't like this, and I think that people really hated on him, but he closed out a lot of games for us. He was a great closer. But we got rid of Kenley Jansen. I still loved Kenley Jansen, even with what people said about him. I've heard a lot of people say they didn't like him. I don't agree. I very much like him. I think he's a great closer. I think he is just what we need. We have trouble closing games out, especially on the pitcher's mound. And the last thing we need is to get bombed out at the end. So, fingers crossed. We'll see how it goes. As far as MLB, that's all I really want to say. Until baseball season starts up again officially, which should be in like 2 weeks from now, I don't really have much to talk about. No, a sport that I do have a lot to talk about is the NCAA. We're in March Madness, folks. Oh, yes, oh, yes, oh, yes, oh, yes, oh, yes. Now, let me bring this up. We're going to bring up the official NCAA bracket. All of my bracket is officially busted and demolished. Let's go with you. Are you the one I was looking for? No. But that's just a list of all the games on the actual bracket. That is worth bringing up. Let's see. Let's go with SB Nation, the Sports Ball Nation. I just opened up the actual bracket. I may actually have saved the file. Let me see. Hello? Is it me you're looking for? Oh, this is the same. freaking page. Here. Read the actual bracket. All right. Damn it, I hate this page. Man. No, I don't want to deal with this. I'll cut all this part out, but I really want to get the one that I wanted. Here we go. All right. Let's go ahead and do this. All right. And let's take a look. All right, there we go. Okay. So we're going to go piece by piece here. So my original setup, let's see, I actually wrote down all of my picks. I had Gonzaga. Yep, they're still in it. I had Memphis. They lost to Gonzaga. Okay. New Mexico State. They ended up losing to Connecticut, who then lost to Arkansas. So it's going to be, and Arkansas then beat North Mountain State, or New Mexico State, my bad. Yeah. And so Arkansas versus Gonzaga is coming up next in the Sweet 16. The rest of it, we have Duke versus Texas Tech, UCLA and North Carolina, St. Peter's, and Purdue. St. Peter's a sleeper. They had been putting in work. Maine and Iowa State, Providence and Kansas, Michigan and Villanova, and Houston versus Arizona. This is a busted bracket for me, I'm not going to lie. A bunch of number ones went down. Well, one went down. Baylor, that was a surprise to me. I did not see Baylor losing to North Carolina at all. Another big loss was Kentucky. Did not expect Kentucky to lose. But Kentucky lost their first game to St. Peter's, yeah. And St. Peter's is still going strong. So when a season's meant to be, it's meant to be. I hope they keep it going because it's been fantastic to watch. This has been a fantastic March Madness so far. As far as Elite Eight goes, Gonzaga's going to beat Arkansas. Texas Tech, I think, is going to beat Duke. I know this is Coach K's swan song, and I think it's going to be a great game, but I think it's Duke's game to win or lose. UCLA versus North Carolina, I got UCLA. St. Peter's versus Purdue. I think this train keeps going. St. Peter's, I think they're going to keep going. Houston versus Arizona. I still got Arizona. Houston is good, but I can't go against Arizona wild cards right now. Villanova, Michigan. Either way on this one. I'm leaning towards Villanova. But we'll see. We'll see. That one I'm not really invested in, so I'm okay. Kansas and Providence. I have Kansas. I think the Jayhawks are going to keep it going. Providence is making a nice little run. But I think this is going to be Kansas's game. I think they're going to bully them. I think they're going to be too big. And lastly, Iowa State versus Miami, Florida. Iowa State. Yeah. Yeah. I originally had Iowa State and Iowa both going forward. Iowa did end up going out in the first round against Richmond, who then lost to Providence. I think this is Iowa's game for sure. We'll see. To the probably 3 people who still have working brackets, may God have mercy on you, and may the odds ever be in your favor. And lastly, NHL. We're about to get into the playoffs. Trade deadline just passed. No big moves really. Penguins trade to the Ducks, but it just kind of is what it is. Just Hockey hasn't really been that interesting as of late. We'll see how playoffs end up shaping up for it. But that's it. That is it for me. It's been a very, very eventful week. I can't wait to see what comes up next. The free agency period in NFL is always one of my favorite times. I love it. I love all times of the NFL. NFL is just my favorite. As much as I love basketball, and NBA is absolutely the sport I grew up watching. It's the one that molded me into the man I am today, pretty much. Always had NFL in my heart. Buck Nation. Buck Nation all day, every day. Yeah. You see it. You see it. Buccaneers, son. I'm not going to bug you after that, though. Or the jacket. But we're looking good. We're looking quite good. We just need to sign back a few more pieces, and we'll have pretty much all the offense back again for a third time. We'll see how it goes. Thank you for coming back, Brady. We'll see how things end up shaping up. It'll be a wild season. But until then, I'm Rob. Y'all have a good day.